This we have two races for you on big 1 mile or bigger racetracks on the Whelen Modified Series schedule for our NASCAR '07 season playthrough. And today, our first race will be at the Rockingham Raceway, or Speedway, I should say. Technically, it was the North Carolina Speedway, but in this game, it is stated as the All-State Speedway. So that is where we are at for this one, but it's basically modded off of Rockingham. So Rockingham Modifieds. These cars did not race here in real life, so it is going to be a very fast racetrack. Well, not my lap time, but the pole time in the mid 22-second lap barrier. Off the top of my head, I do not remember a Cup car running anywhere close to a 22-second lap time at Rockingham. So very high speeds at this racetrack. Going to be a lot of drafting in this race, I'd assume, but it's still a relatively narrow racetrack. Honestly, this might be kind of what like New Atlanta is now, is what I expect how this race is going to go. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Our second race is going to be at New Hampshire, which also is pretty much the super speedway race in the modified series schedule. Nowadays, we're going to be racing there obviously as well. So that will be our two races. Couple of longer races for the doubleheader today compared to what we're used to doing. So strap up. Let's get into this one. Without further ado, let's get off to race number one. So at the All-State Speedway, aka Rockingham, we are starting in 9th place. Our teammate Nate Beasley is on the pole. He is second in points, minus 88. We just got to survive and hope we get a good finish out of this. This is the first race that I've qualified that I had not qualified on the pole in. And I almost wrecked myself on the first lap, and that would have been terrible. Trying to get our way back to the bottom. Shaky start, to say the least, here for Stu Floyd. Loses a few positions right out of the rip, but now going to get slammed down into turn one. Still makes the pass on the 131 car. I mean, it is full throttle around this racetrack. I'm literally not lifting. I'm at 160 plus miles an hour. It's ridiculously fast for a modified. I don't know what their top end speed is at New Hampshire off the top of my head, but I don't even think it's this fast. I mean, we're literally like 150 miles an hour around this racetrack at our slowest. It's full throttle pack racing here at this racetrack. I mean, there's a reason, again, the modifieds never raced here. The flat 1 mile ovals here in Milwaukee, okay, but a banked 1 mile oval like this, the closest track I could think to nowadays that this would replicate as would be like Nashville Super Speedway, but that's a little bit bigger. It's about 1.33 miles. 147 laps. It's an even 150 miles in this race. Beasley's led all 4 of them so far. Oh, this guy's slamming me. And I'm making a little contact with our other teammate, Stu Floyd. I'm actually moving up through the running order better than I thought. Honestly, with where I qualified, I thought it was basically just going to run there the whole race. Oh, it's tough. Like, it's full throttle racing if you hit your apex perfectly, but if you're on the bottom line like I was right there, especially in that awkward circumstance trying to make a pass on somebody, you kind of have to lift to make the corner, otherwise that happens. Luckily, that's all that happened, is we just made contact and it wasn't anything serious. Oh boy, I had a big run there. Kind of bump drafted, pushed him through. Both gained a spot out of it. Getting him on corner entry. But now I got somebody underneath me. Oh, hang on to it. Oh. like they're checking up in the corners and I'm not. And that's where I'm beating them, is on corner entry. Oh boy, yep, I knew he was going to do that. Still there. Hey, buddy. That was him. That time, now he's trying to wreck us. Like, I was there when he moved down on me that time. Alright, up to third. I don't even care that Beasley's leading this thing right now. I just want to get out of here. This track is so dangerous. It's such a fast-paced, dangerous racetrack. It's so narrow. I don't like having to pass cars. Ideally, I wish I would have qualified better than ninth. I mean, it's kind of tough if you're going full throttle all the way around this racetrack. Like, there wasn't really much else I could have done in qualifying. But we're definitely quicker in the draft, as you see. Give that second place car a big shot, getting into turn one. You can't really bump draft with these cars. Clearly, it's open wheel. Kind of have a 5-car breakaway at the front of the field right now. Man. It can come from so far back. Got a good pull off of turn 4. I wanted to see if the outside would stick. It did not. Lost some time. I feel like to run the outside, I'd have to lift and then just be giving up too much time to do that. NASCAR Team Penske Cup Series Racing. Thanks for tuning in. So Beasley has led the first 16 laps at the line this time by. Wall scrape hurt us a little bit. We'll get back to him. Continue to hit our marks down towards the bottom of the track. Kept the draft on the straightaways. Side by side for the lead. And we got our first lead change. So Beasley, who led the first 16 laps, will not lead lap 17. And that's Mark Dyer, who has taken the lead and got his first lap led. Stu Floyd up to second as he gets by Beasley as well, which is who we're battling for the championship with. Now it's maybe a chance to see who's quicker between Dyer and Floyd. Honestly, I might just sit here for a while and play it safe. I don't like this spot we're in. I mean, I'm clearly faster on entry, again. I just don't know. It's like, if I get to the lead, am I going to be able to pull away? I don't think anybody's going to pull away. This track is so big for these cars. The draft is going to keep everything close. It's nice that we got this far. Oh! Just shoved. Got loose! They'll go for it. Yep, we are at Rockingham. Rockingham for the first race, New Hampshire for the second. That's a big block getting into the corner there. Beasley's trying to get back to the lead again. I tried to fill that gap as quickly as I could. It's Beasley back to the point. Floyd looking for second. Underneath Mark Dyer, going to take it away from him. I'm all right with pulling away with our teammate here. I don't think we're going to pull away, though. That's the problem. I do not like being on the outside on this racetrack. Oh, man, it's just, there's not a lot of room. These cars are wider than I would think the Busch and the Cup cars are. So it makes a narrow track just that much more narrow. And the speeds in the center of the corner are higher with these cars than what they would be with those cars anyway, because we're not lifting. And the only time I'm lifting is to not make contact with anybody, really. You lose so much momentum and you got to get it back again. It's fun. It is challenging. Oh, Dyer checked up. He checked up. He checked up, then I had to check up. So I thought he was going to go for it. Beasley cut him off. Got somebody slow on the bottom of the track. First engine failure of the race. Obviously no cautions. Per usual in this series, I had such a big run, but nowhere to go with it. Trying to get back into second under Beasley. Down the back straightaway, trying to make this pass going into the next corner. And we will do just that, and up to second. Coming up on lap 30 this time by. No two cars can get away at the front of the field here. Oh, we're going. Man, what a run. He's going to get us both. Why do I feel like the third place car is the fastest car in line? I can't do anything when I get to second. But then I'm getting passed simultaneously. So Nate Beasley leads again. Our second driver blowing a motor. Fourth place is starting to creep in with the alternating, changing in position between these top three. Now Lapper did make it onto pit road. Oh, that's not good. We just lost our drafting partner now. And we lost a spot too. Alan Walker. Oh, wow. That was a gutsy move on the outside. Just cleared us before he got into the corner. All right. I mean, the good news is Nate Beasley doesn't have any drafting help. So I think we can get up there. Just got to stay smooth. And we got another teammate to work with here, Alan Walker. The closing rates are so big at the end of the straightaways that you don't want to lift, but you have to. Walker going for it. He's got second. Floyd going to try to get to third. Clear. All right. First we've seen Alan Walker up here yet. I still haven't led. 35 laps in. I actually was braking going into the corner there. I was doing everything I could to not make contact with the car in front of me. It's just I try a wider entrance so I don't have to lift, but then the car that's behind me just gets so much of a run. tough. Some tough racing. The three of us are definitely closing in on Beasley. I mean, I expected that to be the case. We had a lot of laps left. It's 4 cars and then the rest of the field. You would think between the three of us and being teammates, one of us has to win this race. Like, we can't blow this thing. Even though we're all kind of racing each other for the championship, I mean, we're all in the top 4 in points. But if we run on top of each other every single week, they're not going to gain much ground on me, I would think. Get 3 drivers out of the race already. I think with this being a faster track, we might see more DNFs than usual here. I mean, we've had 3 in the first 39 laps already. They've all been drivers that haven't been contending for the race lead yet, so there is that. Walker wiggled a little bit in the center of the corner. I broke the gas as soon as I saw that. Wasn't sure where he was going. Big run as he goes for the lead. Walker looking to that middle upper line, trying to get a run on corner exit off turn 2. Side by side for the lead. Big run on entry for Floyd. Going to try to get the second and get by Beasley here with Walker still out in front. Got it. All right, back to second. Beasley drops to third in 1 lap as Alan Walker leads his first lap of the race. I think Walker might be the fastest of these cars. I feel like I'm not getting as much of a run on him, even when I was drafted behind him in the other positions. He just got a little bit more than Beasley and whoever that other guy was. Mark Dyer, that's right. I'm not lifting. Like, I just got to get the run underneath him. Beasley's not going anywhere now that he's in the draft. He may not be as good of a lead car. Lap traffic, I would imagine, is going to be a factor at some point, considering we only have 19 cars left in this race with 3 of them out. Oh, we might get to the lead here. He wiggled. Gonna get side by side. But on entry into 3, what a block. Walker had so much speed down the back straightaway. Floyd going for it again. Turn 1. Trying to take that first lead of the race. And he's got it. Stu Floyd out in front for the first time here at the Allstate Speedway, aka Rockingham in this game. The title sponsor, as this is technically a fantasy track in this game. But leads his first lap, gets his 5 bonus points, have exactly 100 laps to go. This is our Daytona, essentially. This is what this is. Rockingham is our modified series Daytona on this season. Beasley got to second, overdrove it. Walker's going to get right back around him again. I mean, there's no pulling away. I don't think the leaders had more than a second lead, and that was only when made contact with the second place car at the time when Beasley was leading earlier. I keep going back and forth for second. At least it makes it easier for me to be able to make the moves necessary to continue to lead this race. It's a lot easier to hold the bottom full throttle without pushing wide in the center of the corner too. Without having a draft in front of me, I can't have that extra speed entering the corner. And we had seen several lead changes. I just wasn't one of them until a couple laps ago. Oh, he's going to the outside. I mean, I'll give it to him. I just don't want to give up the bottom. We can still lead the most laps in this race, even though it took me 48 of them to get to the front. There was quite a few lead changes. It's going to be a while before we could take the lead in the laps led side of things, but we can get there eventually. Honestly, there is a chance we could clinch this championship early. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure exactly how many points ahead of first or second, technically, we would have to be going into the final race to clinch the title early, but it's doable. Because it only goes back to 22nd. I don't know what the parameter is for that off the top of my head with this older points format. I'm glad that we've gotten the lead now, though. I feel like I could really sit on it. I was curious to know how it was going to be when I actually got up here. Been fortunate enough that they just battle for second so much between those three cars behind us that they're not really able to get a gigantic run on me to try to go at it for the lead. "100 laps is a long time to hold on to it, though. Like, when you're basically pack racing. Like, I will probably lose the lead at some point here. There's no way I'm going to hold on to it for 100 laps, especially once we get into lap traffic at the back of the field, because then I'm going to have to pass. You know, my car might get finally tight enough in traffic finally that I'll have to lift and they'll have just such a big run. Awards on the CW at 3 p.m. today. I had no idea, honestly. I didn't know that CW was airing it. I'll be watching my Packers about an hour after that. Got the 49ers today. Repping my Clay Matthews jersey. Super Bowl jersey. This thing is like almost 15 years old now. It's in great condition, though, by the way. This is my Aaron Rodgers jersey from that same season. 2010 season, but it would have been like 2011 sometime when I got it. I think I got it for Christmas that next year in 2011. So since like Christmas 2011, I've had these things. It'll be 13 years. This coming Christmas, I've had these jerseys. I mean, the numbers faded a little bit on them, but not bad. Not like the Brett Favre jersey I have. These authentic jerseys, man, they hold up a little bit more. $93 points. Oh, so we're almost a full race ahead then. I'll have to double check that when I can. Because this is technically still the same points format that the Truck, Busch, and the Cup Series would have been on at that time. So it wouldn't have been like... Well, I mean, maybe the Modified Series was going by the same points format too, but I don't really know if that is the case or not. Well, on this game, at least, it goes by the format of the Truck, Busch, and Cup Series. We've had a car to our outside a couple times. I haven't blocked it, you know, just letting them get there and just hope that they don't have enough of a run on me to clear me by the next corner. Because Walker was able to do that a couple times on me when he was in second. Just ran our fastest lap, 22.745. I think the pole lap was like a 22.6 something, so I don't know where Beasley pulled that pole lap from. I'm definitely a little bit quicker in the draft, obviously, than what I was in qualifying, which is why I qualified 9th, but yeah, I have no idea how Beasley pulled that kind of a lap with no draft. Like, I'm not drafting off of a car, but at least I have some of the effect behind me. Even though I'm not physically getting pushed. Still better than nobody out on the track in general. I didn't even realize there was another car that's joined the fray as well, so now we have 5 cars in this lead pack. Maybe we won't have to deal with lap traffic before the end of the race. I would think we probably will. The more cars we get in this pack, though, I feel like the bigger the runs are going to be that are coming from behind us. Oh, yep, there. Exhibit A. Oh, that was a rival. Mark Dyer. And he's going to get shafted. He's going to lose several positions. And Stu Floyd's still going to hold on to the lead. We've had it for about 21 laps consecutively now. I still don't think I've gotten to the most laps led in the race. Oh, now I lost the bottom. Yeah, I'm donezo now. Oh, don't take us 3. We're 3. We're 3. We're 3. We're 3. Oh, that was so tight. I was already against the wall when he hit me. There was literally nowhere I could have went there. Well, we held on for about 21 laps. Gonna get back by Alan Walker. Beasley's back in 5th then. Here's Mark Dyer. We're trying to get by right now. Can't get to him that corner. Got to run on Dyer. He's going to be upset with me. I keep hitting him like this. Gonna get underneath. Trying to go for second. Down into turns 1 and 2. Got it. Who is this guy? Peter Ferguson. So Clint Ferguson, who had a DNF in one of the 2 races we ran yesterday. And was in championship consideration there for a while. Not as much the case anymore. What kind of a car does he have as he leads for the first time? We got another car blowing up. That's 4 drivers out of the race. And we're down to 18 cars on track. With still a little less than half of the race to go. Block towards that high side. Got to run down to the bottom, the fake high, the cut to the bottom. And Floyd's going for the lead into 3 and 4. Gets crowded. I mean, we had him, and then he forced us down below the white line. I mean, there's no out of bounds when I couldn't hold the corner down there. Ferguson destined to try to stay out in front of the field, as he's trying to get back into the title fight. I don't know that I can intimidate him out of the way. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. He's definitely quick. Thought I had him a couple laps ago. Lap 80 this time by. About 68 to go. Yeah, he's not getting loose when I try to intimidate him. Oh, he did that time. Is there enough of a run on entry into 3 to be able to make the pass, though? No, there is not. Finally got loose with getting intimidated. And we got underneath him that one time, and that was it. We are starting to catch a couple of lap cars at the tail end of the field finally. After almost 80 laps of racing. Kind of a two-car breakaway here at the front of the field. I'll tell you what, I've been pressing so hard on the gas this whole time. Usually, you would get a pit stop by now. If it was like a cup race or something. While running full throttle, and I have the X button as my throttle in this game. And not R2. So my thumb is gonna be toast at the end of this race. And we still got another race left at New Hampshire, which is gonna be very similar to this in the sense that it's gonna be probably full throttle racing again. Big move. Can it hold on the apron that time? He got crowded, but there was no contact, but couldn't clear. Off of turn 4, at the line, did lead that lap. Going to try to clear him into 1, and does. And back to the lead. Stu Floyd out in front again. Ferguson peeking to the outside into 3, follows in line back to the bottom on corner entry. So we held on for about 21 laps the first time we led. Ferguson with another run to the outside entering turn 1. He's quick, man. I mean, he passed me on the outside earlier as it was. He's the one guy who I think we have to actually block up there. Because nobody else has been able to pass me up there the whole time. And he seems to be a little bit better in 3 and 4 than he is in 1 and 2. I'll give him the outside in turn 1, but I don't think I can give it to him in 3. Then he might crowd me again like he has a couple times already. I was just committed to hoping it would stick down there. I'm glad we were in a modified because it wouldn't have stuck in any other vehicle. As low as I took that entry into 3. I would have bottomed out and probably got loose when I came back up onto the racing line. I wasn't supposed to run down there. I just killed my straightaway speed. Ferguson looking to the top. Got flatlining the entry so terribly right now. Side by side for the lead into one. Jobs back in line behind us again. I'll tell you what, that sun glare going off into the corner doesn't help either. I just overdrove it. Oh my gosh. I'm not trying to turn that early into the corner. I'm just kind of doing it randomly. Definitely not intentional. Got loose. Still a little loose. Try to get this draft off the lapper in front of us. I think he was getting that down the straightaway the last couple times, and I would go to the bottom to try to protect. It's hard not to go to the bottom on the front stretch just because of the curved tri-oval. It's the shortest way around. All right, now getting through the lap traffic is going to be difficult. We'll do our best here. 22.677 that last lap. Fastest of the race. Lap cars are in the way. We get underneath that first one through 3 and 4. Not sure if we're clear. We are into the corner, and now Ferguson gets held up a little bit as he has to pass the lap car. Still got one more in front of us at 159. And we'll pass him through 1 and 2. Oh, he's got to run on the bottom. Go down and block. Push tight, but luckily he already cleared the lap car for himself. And we got some of the back of the field catching up because only 2 of those cars behind us are not on the lead lap. This race definitely going to get dicey. 50 to go. I'm afraid of getting shafted out of line if we get more cars in this pack. Definitely think it's going to end up making my life more difficult. So try not to lose more than one position at a time and pull out of the lead again. I mean, the first time we fell out of the lead, we fell back to 4th. That very well could happen again. That would stink if that happens in the closing laps. Lose that many spots. Especially if Nate Beasley gets back up here again, too. Lap 1 hundo. There's a mighty big gap before we catch another lap car. Those 2 that we caught a handful of laps ago are probably going to be the only 2 we catch the rest of this race. Would not be shocked if that was the case. There he goes. Got to the right rear corner panel. There's not really any side draft effect with these cars, so that's kind of good when we get side by side. I'm not at an extreme disadvantage initially. Really hard for that driver making the pass to try to keep the run going long enough to make the pass necessary. We are definitely going to get more drivers involved in the finish of this race. We still have 40 laps left this time by. It's a long time. I can't get over that sun glare entering turn 3 either. All the way down the back straightaway. It's blinding. Even with these PS2 graphics from 2006. Blinding. God, is that you? Oh, we had trouble out in front of us somewhere. Well, I've held on to the lead longer than I did the first time we had it. We held on for 21 laps. It's been almost 30. So we get to lap 114. It'll be actually 30 laps that we will have led consecutively for. So now that'll eclipse 50 laps led in the race at that point as well. Just getting us closer to trying to lead the most laps in this race. To do so, we're probably going to have to lead probably 50 to 60 plus, but we should be able to get there. All right. Oh, one of our teammates is out. We got another slow. Oh, we had a wreck behind us. That's what happened. I was going to say, Alan Walker was the guy. Oh, my gosh. I was looking at that the whole time. We're going to lose the lead, aren't I? Guess just driving down on the apron. Yeah, there it is, off turn 2. I didn't see it out of the rear view, but I saw the track map. They were stacking up majorly behind us, and I think that's where that wreck took place. Better behind us than in front of us. And unfortunately, Alan Walker was involved in it. He is back going in the right direction again, so I guess he's not out of the race, but he might have a broken car like I did back at Old Spice Speedway when I wrecked there. So it's back to a two-car race again between Ferguson and ours truly here, Stu Floyd, for the win. We still got 32 laps left. We're getting closer to another lap car as a result of that crash. Things got spread out a little more. I mean, it is a major gap on that track map from first to third. And they are not going to catch us the rest of the race unless somehow me and Ferguson end up wrecking each other for the win here, which isn't impossible. But no cautions. I mean, see, if we would have had a yellow, the entire field would have been bunched back together, but not the case here. We saw for ourselves at Old Spice what that caution did for us. Now, granted, my car was broke, so, you know, if I would have had to have pit, no saying it would have been completely fixed again anyway, but might have had another crack at it from the rear of the field. We'll never know. 30 laps left. Floyd trying to hold on. Big run by Ferguson, faked high, went low, all over the back of Floyd's race car. Looking to the inside, another block, entering turn 3. Halfway down the back straightaway to beat him down to the bottom. Still not going to be easy. It is nice knowing that I won't have to deal with getting freight trained if he does get underneath me and pass me again. Hopefully won't lose too much ground and we'll be right there. And passing's been tough for ourselves, obviously, too. I mean, when I lost the lead, I lost it for almost 20 to 30 laps at a time. So there's no saying I'll get it back this race, but I mean, it takes forever to work a guy over in this series, I feel like. I mean, we saw Dodge Raceway, granted it was because it was a much smaller track, but racing there yesterday with these cars, like, I'd catch somebody to try to pass them cleanly. It would take me like a dozen laps. Like, I'd get under them, maybe run side by side for a couple laps consecutively. I'd get pinched off enough, I'd have to lift, and then try to re-attack again. That was like through lap traffic, so I just think the mid-corner speeds are up so high with these things that it's hard to get that run to be able to make the pass even if you're quicker than the car in front of you. And honestly, kind of equates to the next gen a little bit with how equal the cars are. And the mid-corner speeds are up because the overall horsepower is down and it makes it harder to make passes on shorter tracks. That's kind of what this series is. The added effect, though, that this is open wheels, so at least if you somehow finally get underneath somebody in the next gen, you can kind of hit them a little bit, but kind of harder to do that without popping some of the tires up off the ground and these things. I mean, we had a guy underneath us at that first race yesterday at Red Bull. We drove underneath somebody because they had a wheel hop. 24 to go in race 1 of our doubleheader. And race 2 will be at New Hampshire. I believe that's 100 laps compared to this one being 147. That'll be a 1-mile track. This one basically a 1-mile track. So that will be the shorter of the 2 races today. And I think there's 2 trips to New Hampshire on our on our Modified Series season. So the fact that they're both in the second half of the year, maybe I'm wrong on that. There's no way there's 2 races at New Hampshire in the final 6. And I know it's not the finale because Dodge Raceway is usually the finale. From my recollection of running the Modified Series. We haven't done it since NASCAR 05. But I'm pretty sure it's the same finale. I don't think the season as a whole is the same. Right. Well, we might still catch these next 2 lap cars. I thought he was going to catch the next guy in front of us, but then he ended up pulling away. I think it is Alan Walker, though, who's one of those 2 cars in front of us. The non-Alan Walker car will probably catch. What a tough break, though. He was running top 5 the whole day, led some laps. Got in that crash with our teammate Nate Beasley, and not to mention, again, they're in the championship hunt with us. So getting into that crash is not ideal. 4 drivers were out of the race with engine failures prior to that. So we only have 18 cars on track currently. I don't think anybody from that crash came to pit road. It was hard to tell for sure. Oh boy, there we go. Ferguson just finally slipped underneath us. I did not make a mistake. He just had his nose in there. Oh boy, that's not good. I thought that was going to be way worse than it was. We're still good. I hope I can get him back. I don't know how we got tangled like that. I'll chalk it up to a racing deal. I probably came down a little. He might have came up a little. Not really close enough to get in his draft. We only got 18 to go. I thought for a second he was going to nose off into the wall or somebody was going to flip or something when we went wheel to wheel. I thought that was going to be way worse than it was. Considering how far back Alan Walker and some of those other guys fell after they had crashed behind us earlier, not seeing exactly how it happened or if anybody may have flipped, but Knowing the speeds we're going at with these cars, I thought somebody was going airborne. $16 to go this time. Just getting close enough to get in that draft again. Again, we know getting there is one thing, making the pass is another. We'll see if it can be done. $15 to go. Kind of protecting the bottom a little bit more. Big run getting into 1 and 2 there. Understand the draft a little more. So Lou Stanton, one of our teammates at the back of the pack here. We're going to have to catch lap him. Looks like he's just getting to the high side and getting out of the way. I did kind of let Ferguson down in front of me. I just didn't want us to stack up and wreck there. I've been in near wrecking situations when I was trying to fight my way through the field earlier doing just that. All right, 12 to go. We still got time to get around him. Lap car's in the rear view now. Oh, we got wobbly. Getting into the corner there. Well, if I get underneath him on the back straightaway entering turn 3, I know he's going to pinch us off again because he tried to do that earlier. A couple times. Just couldn't get him there either. Ten laps to go at the line this time by. Looking low. Into turn 1 for the lead. Got it. All right, there we go. Clear. Off turn 2. Just slide up. And now we just got to block for 10 more laps. More like 9.5, but still. This will be 3 wins in a row. Most consecutively on the season. A little too much apron there. Car was bottoming out quite a bit. I was seeing the sparks. I made quite a few adjustment changes post-qualifying. I felt like my setup was a little too edgy for a race based off of what I had in practice, but then in qualified 9th, and I was like, all right, maybe it is a little too edgy. Get more grip, and we've definitely been faster in the race than what I was in practice and qualifying, so I did make the right adjustment changes. We're going to lead the most laps. We've already locked that up. 10 bonus point performance yet again. 3rd race in a row. We've done that. Now it's time to win for the 3rd race in a row. 6 to go. Ferguson looking to the outside. Takes that cut to the bottom. Is he going to get there? Oh, I got loose. I got really loose. Run away from him. I kind of got lucky out of that with the contact. He got the worst end of it. It straightened my car out, then he had to check up. It's a half a second back with 4 to go now. He's still close enough to stay in my draft, though. He's slowly reeling me back in. Ready to go. Oh, dang it. Just kind of hoping he wasn't going to catch me before the finish. He's getting close. Don't do that. He's there. 2 to go. 2 more miles. He's passed me on the outside once already today. I really don't want him to get to the bottom. So I'll definitely lose it down there. 1 to go. Shaking back and forth. I'm trying to block everywhere. Oh! I tried. Oh, hang on. A contact might have helped. He's got us. There's no chance. Yeah, we're not going to have enough of a run to cross him over either. Gosh darn it. Last lap pass for the win, Clint Ferguson. That was almost as close as our Texas finish the other day in the Busch Series. I think I got to get underneath him off the exit of the corner. There's no side draft in these cars, so I just tried to take the shortest route. But, yeah, it was too little to be desired there at the finish. Led 75 laps, about a little over half the race. For 9th, I mean, we had a good run. Clint Ferguson had a fast car, too. He led 25 laps, won the race. He started 18th. That's actually impressive, considering there's no cautions in this series. Stayed out of trouble. 56 minutes, 14 seconds. Total time on the race, 68 thousandths of a second margin of victory. Average speed, 159.5 miles per hour. Probably going to be the fastest race that we've had this season by way of average speed, considering they're all caution-free. 13 lead changes, quite a few. Definitely a pack-style race. It was a 2-horse race for about those final 40 laps or so, and whoever was in third, well, it would have been our teammates, Alan Walker, Nate Beasley, crashed, took out a lot of other cars behind them. Big stack up on the track map. I didn't actually see it out of the rear view. I'd have to go back after the stream's over to see if we could see anything out of the rear view as to what happened. 15 cars finished on the lead lap. Lou Stanton a lap down to 16th as our teammate Walker, who was involved in that crash, led 5 laps, finishes 14th. And our other teammate Beasley ended up 5th. So Ferguson wins, Floyd 2nd, Patterson 3rd, Dyer 4th, Beasley in 5th, Humphrey 6th, Gonzalez 7th, Shannon 8th, 9th for Calhoun, and White rounds out the top 10. And that is the 2nd win for Clint Ferguson on the season. $75 laps. Sorry, 3rd win of the year for Ferguson, actually. He's catching us for those most wins. Got 573 laps led on the season now. Who all DNF? We had 4 of them, I believe. Simmons, Barnes, Stevens, Blount. Those were the 4. I'll update the point standings at the top of the screen before we get into race 2, which will be at New Hampshire. 100-lapper. We'll get back to the Red Bull Raceway after New Hampshire. I can't tell what the logo of those next tracks are after Red Bull. 12 through 14, no idea. No idea. All right, 108-point lead over Beasley, who finished 5th in this one. And again, we ended up getting the win. Ferguson up to 3 wins now. We're still at 5, and I still haven't won more than 2 races in a row. I mean, I didn't get my first sweep on these doubleheader streams until yesterday. Beasley is 108 back. Mark Dyer, who had a good run, led some laps. 182. Rodney Clay moves back a little bit as well. And Alan Walker loses 1 spot in points, falls to 5th. Ferguson, who has 3 wins now, but is, unfortunately for himself, back in 6th, minus 238. It's going to be tough for him in 7 races to make up that many points with only 22 cars on the track every race. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, and this thing isn't over yet either. Like, we had a race where I didn't DNF, but I pretty much wrecked out of it and finished 21st at Old Spice. Broke my car. Middle of the race, had to limp it. So, like these guys that are 200 points back, I don't think that they're out of it for that reason alone. We've had another finish outside the top 10. What was it, Milwaukee? I finished like 14th or something like that too. Not as bad as what Old Spice Speedway was, but it's up there. Never see R. Simmons in the finishing order. I keep thinking it's Ron Simmons from WWE. Any Attitude Era fans out there? The APA. Damn. People that don't know who I'm talking about, you have no idea what I just talked about. All right. Unmute it. And we'll get to qualifying here at New Hampshire. Try to guess the setup. Hold on. I probably want a lot of downforce. It's probably going to be... I was a little skatey. They ran Milwaukee. Keep the air pressure where it's at least for qualifying. Then we'll see from there where to go. All right. 100 laps. The old Whelen Modifieds at New Hampshire. Great racing we're about to see here in this one. We saw kind of a pack race the last time. If we don't have a wreck that takes everybody out of it from third on back again. Well, we had about 5 or 6 cars up there. Very little lifting. This thing feels just glued to the racetrack. Just gotta hope we qualify well. I'm scared to go down on the apron too much. I don't know how much grip there's going to be with these cars. And I'm scared to mess up my qualifying lap. If I get the pole on lap 1, I'll go down there for lap 2, so at least I know for the race. So I get for not practicing. Pole, alright, 26.299 on lap 1. Is there grip down on the apron? I could have a low entry line into the corner and actually get it to hold. It slides up a little bit, but it kind of slides up into the natural racing line anyway. Now that one slid up a little too far. I'll figure it out. We'll figure out a line as the race goes. Good news is we got the track position. I don't have to start middle of the pack like I did in the last race. Took me about 48 laps to get to the lead. I still led the most, though. Actually picked up time, I think, on lap 2. All right. See what we got. 100 laps, New Hampshire. Modifieds. This will be fun. Green flag in the air. We are racing for the second time on this stream. Can I go wire to wire once? Somebody else did earlier in the season. What race was that? Somebody led every lap. Was that at Martinsville? No, it wasn't Martinsville. I think I led at Martinsville at one point. Well, maybe it was Martinsville. There was a race I didn't win. Somebody led every lap. Maybe it was Old Spice. It might have been Old Spice. I never even sniffed the lead there. I think I got as high as 4th before I wrecked. Well, lap 1, we led the first lap. That's a good start. I think it's going to be easier to hold the lead here than at Rockingham. In a very similarly styled pack race. This is one of my better tracks on this game. Modifieds might be a little different story just because everything's going to be more congested together. We're not going to have pull-away speed, I don't think, compared to some of the other series, obviously. Good stuff, good stuff. Then we'll get back to the Busch Series for tomorrow night as well as Tuesday. Phoenix and Homestead will finish out our seasons for those series, and that should be a lot of fun. .26.396 fastest lap through the first 5. Well, one race where we can just lead every lap. I think it will be this one. Well, I say that now. Like, it feels fine for 5 laps until we get guys that didn't qualify as well to get up here, like Clint Ferguson at Rockingham in the last race. Started 18, took him a while to get up towards the leaders, and he got up there. He had a really fast car, led 25 laps, won the race. But, you know, with no cautions, it really is tough to go from the back to the front in this series. Not only for the AI, but even for myself. I mean, I tried to do it at Old Spice, didn't work. Martinsville didn't work. I think there was only one race I actually started last and I won. Of the 4 that I started at the back. That was Nazareth, and that's because we got to the lead after like 20-something laps. Like, we just flew through the field. I just had significantly faster car than most of the other drivers. That's what it took. I would like to do one more Modified Series season on this as well over the next few weeks. And do like a custom schedule season and just go to every track once. Run a shorter race. See if that maybe makes it more difficult because there are different race lengths for some of the fantasy tracks that are shorter. On top of having a few 50% races again as well. Have those be some of the other races. And I'll make it shorter too. I'll make it like a 12 race schedule instead of 16. Because I didn't start pulling away till literally the second to last race we ran. Like, we had a 4-point lead going into yesterday's stream in the points to the first, what would have been 6 races at the time. And even after 7, it was only like a 30-something point lead. 44? 44, I think it was, over Beasley. And then that doubled to 88 before today because he had a rough finish, and then now it's up over 100 after our first race of the day, gained 20 more points. So we go and do that for next season. I think we'll have a lot tougher time trying to win the championship. We could still have a tough time here. 7 races is still quite a few to fudge it up. 26.217 that last lap, fastest of the race. Kind of slid the rear tires a little bit on entry. Kind of hooked up in the center, though. I'm running a little lower than I was. We're actually starting to pull away. It's still pack racing from about 3rd on back. Top 2 have checked out. But you got 2 cars pulling away, and it's pack racing from 3rd on back. Just ran faster than my pull time that last lap. Wonder if I can get down into the 25s. That's possible. $26,150. $26,150. This might be a more boring race for the viewer. I was expecting more pack racing like at Rockingham. But then it dawned on me, oh yeah, this is one of my better tracks on this game. So maybe that's doing it. It's kind of like Richmond for us, or we just kind of pulled away. I only have more full throttle here than what I was at Richmond. $26,117. That'll be our goal by the end of this race, to try to get down into the 25s. See what this lap is. Oh, same lap time, 26.117. Run as low as I can. I'm really doing everything I can to try to get these lap times down. They're quick. I mean, way quicker than the rest of the field, clearly. There we go, 26.050. I picked up a 0.06 of a second. I pushed. I think I flatlined the entry a little too much there. Yeah, I lost a couple tenths. All that was on the entry to 3 where I lost it. We'll work at it periodically through the race. I'm afraid I get it now, then we have nothing to work forward for the rest of this race in. Wade, thanks for tuning in. Did I miss... exhausted from work last night. No, I finished 2nd in the first race at Rockingham. Clint Ferguson won his 3rd race. Qualified 9th in that one. Still led the most laps, led 75 of 147, and this is a 100-lap race in New Hampshire. Just started, qualified on the pole, and we've led the first 20. And we've got the pull-away speed in it, and I don't see this being a contest in race 2. It's 100 laps of hoping nothing stupid happens with the no cautions, and go on here and win the race. Get our 6th win of the season. Span the points lead going into the final 6. Yeah, this is race 2. Yeah, that Rockingham race I was just talking about was the first one. All-State Speedway, I guess, technically on this game, but it's Rockingham. We've been over this before. We raced there in the Truck Series season. I think we raced there in the Busch Series season, too, if I'm not mistaken. We've definitely raced there before. This might go down as the most boring race I think we've had on the channel. There's so few cars. It's going to take forever for me to get to lap traffic. It's a shorter race, so once I get there, I'm not going to really be dealing with them as much. We clearly have the fastest car. There's no caution, so there's no chance of having to survive any restarts. No pit stops. Oh! That invisible pothole. Lifting the rear tires off the ground. It felt like the front of the car stayed there. And the back of the car was what jumped. That was weird. Left some skid marks from that. About a 6-second lead already. I wonder if it's possible to lap the field in just 100 laps. Is our pace quick enough to do it? I haven't been able to do the math in my head yet. I don't know exactly how much faster than second place we are lap over lap. Seven and a half seconds now. Yep, I mean, it might very well be doable. Half a track off the lead. We'd have to probably get to about a 13-second lead at lap 50 to have a chance. Our run is so aggressive of a line on both ends of the track. The very bottom. Trying to get as close to that inside wall off turn 2. And off turn 4 before I get to the entrance of pit road. Yeah, we're having Thanksgiving at my aunt's house again. I did mention something on it a while back. Somebody in the chat, it might have been you, that asked me a couple weeks ago. I didn't know right away, but like literally the next day I found out. Excuse me. Somebody down on the bottom of the track. I'll make sure I don't clobber him on the inside up here. Oh, it's our teammate, Lou Stanton. I didn't see the red X till just now. Once I noticed it was him. He's had a rough season. The fact that top 5 in points for the other 3, and he's like the back half. He was 17th, I think, going into the first race, and now he's probably going to be even further back after this DNF. Ouch. Brother-in-law's Wednesday sometime. All right, there you go. Yeah, I don't know exactly what days are going to be streaming next week. I know I'm not going to be streaming on Thursday, obviously, with Thanksgiving. I'm also not going to be able to stream Saturday as well, because we usually have a family get-together for the Ohio State-Michigan game every year. Not sure how long into the day that'll last. I know I might be going somewhere that night as well. So that would eliminate any plans of anything there for the streaming side of things. Friday, I don't know if I'll leave that open or not. I might just take the 3-day hiatus, just with it being Black Friday. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I've done 0 Christmas shopping so far. But definitely no Thursday or Saturday streams next week, that's for certain. We are catching the back of the field. Oh, there we go. I just did it. I'm glad I noticed it at the top of the screen. I haven't been looking in a minute. We ran our fastest lap, but we finally got into the 25s. It was a 25.999. Literally couldn't have gotten any closer to the 26 flat than that. But we did get a 25-second lap time. It is possible here in the modifieds at New Hampshire. 26.038 the next lap. Wow, 25.970, even quicker. I didn't think I was going to get there in the first half of the race. Unless I thought it was going to be one of those things that was going to take me the whole race to get to that lap time. Done it twice. That's without any draft either. I wonder if get a little drafting help, we might be able to do even better than that. I don't think I'm going to be able to lap the field. Got an 11.5-second lead. Unless second place blows up because he's quite a ways ahead of third, I think we can get up to third. I don't know if we can get the second place car for the finish. And I don't know that he's going to catch lap traffic before the finish either. So they make it even harder to try to lap everyone here. 25.940. In the midst of passing cars, we again run our fastest lap of the race. 13 seconds off the lead for second with 53 to go. So we did get to that marker, I guess, halfway through the race. I wasn't sure if I was going to get there just with the lap traffic around me. Now we got more clean air again. It's going to be a little bit before we catch anybody else. Only that one car is out of the race so far, Lou Stanton. Everybody else is still in. Time with the nieces and nephews. Yeah, definitely good time of the year, you know, get with the family. There's probably a lot of families out there, I know, at least of mine, that there's really only a couple times a year that I meet some of the members on this side of the family, so cool to catch up what's been going on the last year or so. Since usually it's like Thanksgiving, around Christmas, Easter, that's about it. Don't really see them much over the summer months, if at all. I did see a couple of them went to that NASCAR race in Michigan this year, so that'd be the last that I saw of some of them. But I mean, that will have been about 4 months from Thanksgiving, so yeah, good to catch up. Yeah, this will be the first race we're going to lead every single lap. The second time somebody has done that this season. I feel like one of the Clint Ferguson wins was the other race. I have to go back and look to be sure. I mean, there's only been one other winner other than us two. That was Camden Barnes. I believe that was the first race of the season he won. Another nephew on the way within a week. Oh, boy. Good to hear. Hopefully everything goes well. Got blocked for a little bit there. Trying to make this pass on the lap car. Should get him in 1 and 2. Couldn't get underneath him in 3 and 4 like I wanted. He was blocking to the bottom, so I had to kind of widen the entrance off to get the apex and try to cut underneath him by corner exit. And that's how that pass was made. Got a rival 2 cars ahead of us. That'll be interesting. Don't really have many of them in this series. Most of them are still lingering around from that Old Spice race. Hoping we just get him here in 1 and 2 without him taking a swing at us. There we go. That's exactly what happened. I will take that. Wow, 25.905. We might get a 25.8 before the end of this one. We're getting there. Some blistering speeds. What we got for this lap? 25.8. There it is. 25.871. They're hauling the mail here at New Hampshire. It's wild. Wonder what kind of lap times the modifieds actually. I find it hilarious if my lap times are even slower than what they run.
Car.
19-second lead. It went from I don't know if I'm going to lap the field to I think I can lap the field to yeah, I'm definitely going to lap the field before the end of this race. I mean, we probably only have like a couple more cars on the lead lap, maybe 5 or 6 of them total. I haven't caught Nate Beasley yet. This is Alan Walker. So Beasley being second in points, still having a pretty solid run. Should have about a 1-race lead in the point standings going into the final 6 races. No, I've never owned a yearbook for NASCAR. I have like a, there's a couple of books I have that I haven't even really looked at in a while. There's one, I have like a History of the Craftsman Truck Series book. It's basically like a Truck Series almanac. It's got everything in there for the Truck Series. And I can't remember what year it goes up to, whenever the book was published, obviously. I'd have to go back and look at it, but like literally it's basically Truck Series racing reference in that book from its inaugural year to whatever year it was. I'd have to dig it out sometime. A lot of the Truck Series stuff I don't know for that time period is literally like right in front of me. There's a couple other NASCAR books that are like that I have, but that one in particular I think is kind of cool. That's probably the coolest NASCAR book I have. I have a couple of Brett Favre autobiographies that are signed, but I don't know that that's cool anymore considering all the crap that's been going on with him and the Mississippi State welfare situation over the last couple of years, so that kind of sucks that his legacy's kind of going down the shitter. It was cool at the time until a bunch of stuff he started after his playing career. Kind of tarnishes it a little bit, depending on who you ask. All right, 34 laps to go. We're getting there. Dominating race. Got one more rival we're going to catch here. It's Ferguson? Who is this? Patterson. Joey Patterson. That's right. He's trying to make a pass on Nate Beasley. And he'll do just that. We're going to try to get underneath him. Don't hit me, please. Got too good of a race going on for ourselves right now. There we go. Made the clean pass on him. We're just too quick. We're too quick for anybody to even get payback on us. 2 cars on the lead lap. So Beasley's in 4th. Wasn't 3rd. Just saw him get past. Grammar. Chris Myers did publish a book. I'm sure Mike Joy's got a book out there. I need to get it. Whatever it is. Well, unless it's like a fictional thing. I've never been into like reading fictional books. Like even like growing up, go through like those English classes and stuff, and you have to like read them and tell about the story basically, regurgitate what you read. It never interests me. Like history always interested me more. So reading like autobiographies and like if we ever had to get like a book like growing up, in our like local library or something and do like a book report on it, I would always try to pick something that was on something that was real. Because for some reason, like fictional stuff, for some reason, just it doesn't captivate me. And I think it's because it's like, I know it's not, I don't know, it's just like, it's hard for me to buy into it. It seems a little cheesy. I think that's why a lot of these kinds of shows, too, and movies are hard for me to, want to go out and watch, kind of for the same reason. I think that's why I like sports as much as I do. It's unpredictable. I think, trying to think of some other stuff that's out there that's kind of similar to that. I mean, like I said, just like a big history buff, but I like learning about stuff that I didn't know happened that has happened before, rather than things that are just like, I don't know, made up, I guess. Which is weird to say considering I'm a pro wrestling fan, but that's a little different, I feel. Like that, like, it's predetermined, but it's still something that's live, that's unfolding. So there is a sense of realism in it in that aspect. You can't fake the pain that they put themselves through on a nightly basis, but it's like the only thing that would venture me off into something like that, on the, like the fictional side of things. Is it like a new book or something? You just start doing it again? Yeah, I'm never, not a big reader, but if I were, again, it would definitely be historical stuff. I think it's neat to know things that have actually happened in, like, world or U.S. history's past. I don't need to know what happened in whatever season of Lord of the Rings or something like it. That doesn't compel me at all. NASCAR Complete History. There were some books I remember renting from the library that were like NASCAR historical based. I remember there was one that was like, And They Walked Away, I believe was the title of it. Very graphic. I mean, obviously, because it's horrific crashes that most of us have seen before in like compilation videos and stuff on YouTube, but it'll go into greater detail into obviously explaining exactly what happened with the crash. There's quite a few of them on there. Obviously, they all walked away, so there was no age restriction to me getting that book as however old I was as a kid. But I can remember that one. Yeah, a lot of the racing ones I never really found in our elementary school library or school library. It was always like the local one in our town. So our school one didn't really have a lot of stuff like that. It was a lot of fiction-based stuff. There wasn't a lot of history things in there. Which you would, you would think that there would be more of that there. Because you would also think that, like, teaching the youth about, history, like I mentioned already, world history, U.S. history, whatever it may be, is more significant to them. And, growing up and knowing that things have happened for better or for worse or whatever, like, there's significant teaching lessons involved in that rather than fictional stuff. That's just me. That may irk some people, but that's kind of my belief on that, I think. Not I think, I know. I know it's how I feel about it, at least. And there might be a little bit of bias in there, obviously, as well, considering that that stuff just doesn't captivate me, but I'm unique. Go figure. 18 laps to go as we progress forward into this race. Got a 1-lap lead on the field. Caught. We've lapped everybody. We've led every lap from the pole. It was a drafting race for about 5 or 6 laps, and I started to pull away from everybody. That was the only sense of competitiveness we had the whole race. So nobody else is going to get any bonus points other than us. And that will put us at just under 700 laps led total on the season. I don't think we're going to be able to get to 1,000. There's just not enough laps left in a lot of the races we have going forward on the season. I mean, I guess it's possible. Probably right around 100. We're going to have to obviously qualify well in a lot of those races and not take half the race to get to the lead. And obviously also have a car capable of being able to lead and win races. We should have some new tracks still. I think the only track I can think of off the top of my head that we haven't gone to that would be a real track would be IRP. We haven't raced there yet. Pretty sure we'll have that race on the season at some point. I know for a fact we go back to Red Bull Dodge Raceway. We probably go back to the old Pants Speedway in the Meadow Creek. But other tracks. Maybe New Hampshire. Like I said, I thought I remembered New Hampshire being on here twice. I know in real life they go there twice. But in real life they also have more than 16 races, so not sure where that cutoff is. We might go back to Old Spice Speedway again. For better or for worse for us, I always seem to have bad luck there nowadays. At least with this game, I felt like in the prior games I'd always be pretty good there, but now I seem to have bad luck every time I go to Old Spice. The Busch race we had there last week and the modified race we had there last week, it just didn't go well. That deserves a wow. It's been out since 2019. Yeah, I've never heard of it. Good old Chris Myers. $11 to go. This time. Nothing but clean traffic ahead. My nose, by the way, today plugged again. Like, what is going on? I don't know if you guys have felt that I've had a stuff. Like, I've not been able to breathe out of my nose most of the stream. This is like 9 days in a row now that I've had some sort of congestion. It's ridiculous. Like, again, physically, I feel fine. Like, I haven't worked out yet today, but at some point before or after the Packers game today, I'm going to work out. You know, I'm eating a lot of food. I'm drinking a lot of fluids still. Like, I physically feel fine, but I've just had sinus congestion. It's crazy. The only time I felt, like, run down, and there was, like, 2 or 3 days in there I did, but I've been past that for a good 5 or 6 days now. And even the mental, like, fog or fatigue that I would have had as well in there, been perfectly fine for 3 or 4 days. Like, I've worked out the last 3 days. Like, I don't know. I think it's just still congested for some reason. Now, I also have not been taking any medicine for about the last 6 days or so, since I've been physically feeling fine. So that probably has something to do with it. I don't feel the need to have to take it, I guess. I don't know, because I do feel fine. I'm not going to go get looked at. That's just not going to happen. I'm not going to spend the money on medicals to go get looked at when it's probably just a nasal congestion. I usually don't take medicine when I'm sick. I know I've prefaced that before on the channel. I'd have to look into it because I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that might be the reason that my immune system is as strong as it is, because I very rarely get sick. Like, it's a once every couple years kind of thing. I feel like it's like a once every 2 to 3 years kind of thing I'll get sick. I feel like not taking any over-the-counter medicine might have made my immune system stronger in the long run. I'm just guessing. I have to really be like, well, granted, like I said, even if I have like a random day where my allergy, like, I'll take allergy medication. That's about the only thing I do take. But I have that like almost year round, so that's a little different. Just like a month ago, it felt like I was, yeah, that's I don't know, that seems a little hyperbolized. I mean, I've definitely had moments like that, on the inside. It feels like, oh, how could this get any worse? But it definitely can. And it just doesn't. All right, final lap. Whoa! We're good. Yeah, it wasn't me. That was the random pothole in the track. That was the second time I caught that in the race. That was the first time in a long time. Final lap, though. I thought I was going to hit the barrels at the front of pit road there for a second. I had no control of that car when it slammed back down on all four. 1 lap lead on the field. Going to go wire to wire for the pole, leading every lap of race 2 of our doubleheader here today at New Hampshire. Let's go. Win number 6. 6 wins in the first 10 races. See if I can do a burnout. I was struggling to do one at Dodge Raceway yesterday. There we go. Yeah. Not a lot of smoke, but at least I'm able to do some circles. There we go. Now we got some smoke. There we go. Little mini donut. Now, these guys don't really do burnouts in this series, so that's probably why I've struggled to do one a lot of the time. I'll take it. All right, Stu Floyd, win number 6. Wire to wire, led all 100 laps, 43 minutes, 36 seconds. Total time of the race, 145.58 mile per hour average race speed. No lead changes. Again, we led every lap from the pole. Mark Dyer finishes 2nd. Joey Patterson 3rd. Nate Beasley in 4th. And Alan Walker 5th. Clint Ferguson 6th. Who's that? Todd Haley? Travis. The wrong name. Travis Haley 7th. Cam DeBart's 8th. Marvin Humphreys 9th. And Rhett Simmons rounds out the top 10. And our other teammate, Lou Stanton, DNF'd and finished in last, 36th. Only 2 drivers blew an engine in this one, which were Rodney Clay and Lou Stanton. And everybody from 15th on up finished 1 lap down through 2nd, obviously, and then 16th through 20th of the cars that finished were 2 laps down. All right, we're going to take a look at the point standings before we end this stream. Next race at the Red Bull Raceway, which I did know. And yeah, I do see New Hampshire on there again, so race 15 will also be at New Hampshire. The 3 races, race 12, 13, 14, I have no clue where those tracks are at. I would imagine they're probably all fantasy. Well, no, one of them's IRP. One of them has to be IRP. I would imagine we'll race there once. And there's some other racetracks in there that we'll go to again. Red Bull will be our first racetrack we go to a second time, I do believe. So we'll go to Red Bull. Then it'll be a guessing game as to what the next 3 races are after that. And then New Hampshire and Dodge Raceway will finish things out on. So the point standing side of things, we have a 138-point gap over Nate Beasley now. 202 points back to Mark Dyer in third. Alan Walker 250 back and fourth. Then he got Ferguson up to fifth again. He won our first race of our doubleheader today at Rockingham. Rodney Clay in sixth. And Lou Stanton, after an engine failure, is 18th. He was 17th in points. Lost a spot. That ends the stream. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll go live. Busch Series Racing, NASCAR 7, Phoenix. 2 races to go in that season and have just a 20-point lead over Tony Stewart with our driver for the season, Clint Boyer. Should be a fun one. We'll wrap that up over the next 2 nights. We'll have more modified racing on Wednesday. Thursday, Thanksgiving will be off. Maybe streaming on Friday. Possibly, if we do, it'll be modified series action again. Off Saturday. If we don't get the stream Friday, then we'll do modifieds on Sunday and just kind of go from there. Might be able to clinch a championship in that one. 2 races early, potentially. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Go Pack Go, and I'll see you next time.